Like,
Not yet. I think it was too soon. Alright, go to the next one.
cool, okay. Am I the asshole for wanting to drop out of my friend's wedding? I'm not exactly sure what I should do here. So my friend Ashley, 25 female, asked me, 24 female, and my other friend Sarah, 25 female, to be co-maids of honor in her upcoming wedding. At first I was surprised because we were all friends from high school and I felt as though Ashley had grown distant from us over the years. She has moved with her fiance to another country for a multi-year study program abroad, and both the physical distance and time difference between us have put a strain on our friendships. However, as the big day approaches, I'm considering dropping out of this position, and I'm torn about whether I'm being a jerk. Here's the deal. Ashley has not made much of an effort to talk to Sarah or me throughout her engagement, which has lasted roughly 2 years. I understand that the phone works both ways, but the only time Sarah or I have heard from Ashley over the past 2 years has been in discussions about her wedding, or brief chats that have been initiated by Sarah. Sarah is typically the one to reach out first, not Ashley. I've started to get the vibe that once Sarah and I are done with our jobs as maids of honor, we won't be thought of or talked to much by Ashley again. Now, I do not mean to sound too bitter about this, as I understand that friends grow apart over time. However, I feel as though I was only made a co-maid of honor because of my ability to handle all the tasks that she has thrown at us, which so far have consisted of throwing her entire bridal shower and bachelorette party, nearly an entire year before the wedding is set to take place. Throughout this process, we receive little help or direction from Ashley at all. I would not normally mind going above and beyond to throw a friend a party. Working with Sarah made the experience far more bearable, but we had to dedicate a significant amount of our time and money to these parties with very little help or direction. It felt as though we were throwing them for a stranger. Along with this, during the times we have been able to see each other in person while she's been home for wedding events and holidays, there is a notable difference in Ashley's treatments towards Sarah and me. Ashley has started looking down on us and treating us rudely, but it is hard to address since we hardly see or talk to her. Bringing it up feels like we're attacking her rather than the other way around. She made negative remarks about both of our bodies during our bridesmaid dress fitting, and overall does not speak of us in a kind manner that one would speak to and about their friends. The final straw for me is that I just received my wedding invitation from her, and I was not given the option to bring a plus one. Now hear me out. Normally this would not matter to me that much, but this is one thing that I did bring up to her in person. Because I made all of her bridal shower and bachelorette invitations, I was given access to her wedding guest list. On this list, I can see that nearly everybody, including those in the bridal shower, Sarah as well, was granted a plus one option aside from myself. I did not mention this directly to her at first, but during her bridal shower, she told Sarah and I that she thought it was silly that her mom, who was paying for the entire wedding, thought that every guest should be granted a plus one. At the time, I told her that I agreed with her mom, who had made the argument that all of the single people at her wedding would feel singled out or not want to travel alone. Ashley asked me then if I felt singled out for not being set to receive a plus one on her guest list, and also asked if I would like one, to which I told her yes. I included the sentiment that I was slightly offended that everyone else had automatically been set to receive one, whilst I had not. I should mention that this wedding is 3+ hours away and will require an overnight stay. She said that she understood, but that she ultimately didn't want strangers in her wedding photos, so she would consider it before sending out invitations. Flash forward to now, and I have received my invitation without the option to bring anyone. There are only 2 other people on the guest list without the option for a plus one. I feel the need to say something to her, but I'm not sure what. Truthfully, I don't even want to be involved in the wedding anymore, as I feel incredibly taken advantage of throughout this process. Am I the asshole if I mention something about not getting a plus one to her again? Am I the asshole if I drop out of this wedding completely?
I think the normal, like, courtesy of, like, wedding parties is to give everyone in the wedding party a plus one.
Yeah.
Like, that is, I think, is pretty typical. You're supposed to give people in the wedding party a plus one,
Yeah, they're
even if they
priority.
aren't together with somebody. I think it's weird because I was super against plus ones, obviously, for money purposes, and which, if her mom was paying for the wedding, right? Then the bride shouldn't even care about that.
Hmm.
But I get like not wanting strangers wanting to pay for extra people.
She's not paying.
But like you kind of have to like when it's like people are traveling, it's hard. Like if you're inviting like a whole family that's traveling to your wedding, you're inviting a whole family. Not all those people need a plus one because they have each other. But like if I myself was and I wasn't married and I was invited to a wedding just me and nobody else, I would be like I don't want to travel alone. Like I want to, and I'm going to be super bored at a wedding if I don't know anybody else there. Because it's not like I'm going to be hanging out with the bride and groom. Like, I'm going to be hanging out with the other people who are at the wedding. If I don't know anybody, then this is going to be really boring and really nerve wracking. And she's a maid of honor, so she kind of has like, she is going to be hanging out with the bride, I assume. Like, she's going to be at the table with these other people, and she does know this other girl that she's planning everything with. So it's like she does have somebody else there that she's gonna know and be around. But if that person has a plus one, then they're probably gonna be distracted by their plus one, whoever they're with. So it's like either way, common courtesy is just to have your whole wedding party have a plus one.
Yeah. I think the post and everything is like she's so focused on the plus one. I think the bigger issue is how she's being treated. Like she's being spoken down to, rude. She's not given that plus one. That's a part of it. And just in general, is like it seems like the bride has no friends. She's not made any friends since you guys were in high school. Not made any like anybody close that or any like family or the even
I mean,
the
she might
groom's
have friends.
sisters.
They are just bridesmaids.
Well, yeah. Why would they? Why wouldn't they just be maid of honor then? It's like seems like she's made no close friends since high school. Either that she means she's like a bitch, or I don't know
She
what it
does
means.
suck. Like she's
Yeah,
not even talking to you guys
yeah,
in general throughout the process without talking about the wedding.
yeah. And she's just being rude
Especially
and
since you guys are
commanding you to.
maid of honor. Like,
Yeah, she's like commanding them to like plan these parties for her, and it seems like they're gonna get thrown out like trash after this is all done. So I definitely understand how you feel, and I
yeah.
would not put it past you. I would not. I would. What? How do you say it? I would not hold it against you if you just dropped out because I don't like the way you're being treated.
I think that so, like, you've already done so much to drop out now. It's like you already did everything for her. Like, she would almost like that, you know? Also, she doesn't want strangers in her pictures, but she's okay with maid of honors that she might not even be friends with. That's gonna be in every single one of her bridal party photos, like, and a
Hmm.
lot of her photos. And like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
think that she needs to talk to her and be like, "Hey, like you don't talk to us other than for the wedding. Like, you don't ask how we are doing. You don't give us a lot of like this. You don't give, and then on top of that, you're not giving me a plus one when I explicitly told you I want one because I'm going to be traveling and I don't
Hmm.
want to travel alone. Like,
Hmm.
it feels like you don't care about me at all, and we're supposed to be friends, best friends. If I'm your maid of honor, and you don't even care, like, who cares? Let it turn into an argument, especially if you don't care.
Yeah.
If if you stay as a maid of honor,
Yeah.
like just yeah, like turn it into an argument. Like
Yeah,
who
you have
cares? You have
nothing to
nothing to
lose.
lose.
Yeah, but you need to say how you feel, or if you don't, you don't want to talk to her, then that's also fine. But yeah,
I don't know. I think that you should explain everything to her. Explain why you want a plus one. Explain like a little bit more. And explain how you feel about everything, about how everything's been going, how you're spending money on her, and she doesn't even say how you doing. Like,
it's weird that she's saying she doesn't want strangers in the photos. By the way, and yet she's giving other people plus ones.
I'm assuming she knows. Like, it's like people who are getting a plus one are probably either married, long
Mm,
term relationships. She knows the
okay.
other people, but it's also there's only three people who don't have a plus one. That's three people she doesn't know. That's three people. Like what?
Yeah.
And there's got to be strangers. There's got to be people she'll know
Kind of
on
close
her
friends.
on the groom side.
Yeah, that's true. It's also like it's not like a middle school baseball photo, like where all the they get on their hands and knees, or like when somebody's standing and who's like kneeling. Not everybody's gonna be in like one photo. It's gonna be like snapshots of like here and there. This is that group. This is this group.
And the people are in plus ones. Like it doesn't matter. It's not like if there's like the only time that there's gonna be photos of strangers is gonna be during the reception and when people are dancing. And those people are probably gonna be dancing with the people that you do know. And then you can give them that photo. And then it's very nice because they have a photo of them two dancing and whatever and having fun. Like not like it is your wedding, but like a few photos in your wedding gallery that doesn't have you in it is not gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, you can take a photo of somebody at your wedding who you think is a friend, and they can become a stranger later. So it's not the end of the world. This shit happens to everybody.
yeah, there's gonna be a lot of strangers in those photos,
Yeah.
especially the people who are in your wedding party. It
Yeah,
sounds like
planning all of your fucking wedding. Yeah.
someone said, "Not the asshole. Drop out of the wedding. You've already done more than enough and are being used as free labor by someone you barely know anymore. You can lie and say something came up, or you can give it to her honestly and say this is too big of a burden for how distant you are." I would say don't lie that something came up. That's really
That's bad.
stupid.
That's worse.
Don't don't give people BS, especially when it's like this, where it's like you've been working together for a year or 2 years working on this wedding, and then you're
Yeah.
just gonna drop out, even though she's kind of an asshole. Don't do that to somebody. I hate when people are like, just drop out. You don't even have to explain yourself. No, explain yourself.
Yeah. Don't make.
Because
Yeah.
she's just gonna go on the rest of her life thinking she didn't do anything wrong.
Exactly. I was gonna say that.
And also, like, it's just gonna put it on you. It's just gonna be like, oh, that piece of shit dropped out of my wedding right before my wedding. She's such a piece of shit, you know?
Yeah. When the truth is that she needs to hear the truth. You know.
Because she might be like, I am so sorry. I didn't realize that I was doing like this. I've been so caught up with the wedding. I haven't been focusing on much else. I'm so sorry. Like, yeah, I do feel a bit distant from you, but you were my best friends in high school and I really wanted you there. Like, she could say so much stuff. She might not be as much of an asshole as you think. She could be just as much of an asshole as you think. But
Yeah.
you're not going to know if you're just going to drop out and not say anything.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
anything why. Like, come on, people.
I don't like the way you're being treated, but yeah, especially if you have nothing to lose, just tell her.
Yeah, you got nothing to lose.
Tell her what's going on.
And the other girl feels the same way, I assume, so you're not going to lose her as a friend if you drop out.
You could even get her and them all in a chat together.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the bride might like cry and be like, "Oh, this is too much. I'm getting married." She might be emotional, but like, she needs to know how she's treating people. So
It doesn't really, yeah, it doesn't matter, you know. All right, I think we should go to the next one.
all right, you or me? Am I the asshole for kicking my sister out of my wedding? I want to start this off by saying my sister and I have always had a rocky relationship due to her being very selfish, and for this reason, I wasn't going to put her in the wedding from the beginning. But some family members guilted me into it. I, 25 female, am getting married next year, and I have been engaged for a year. I asked all of my girls to be at my wedding by the end of November 2022, which also includes my brother, who I am very close with, as he is my man of honor. Every time I would talk with my sister about the wedding, she would have a really bad attitude. We could be having a great conversation, and her attitude would become nasty once the wedding got brought up. And there were countless times where she would say, "Since I'm nothing in the wedding, I should get this, or I should be able to do that," while she was a bridesmaid. At one point, I told her that as a